Welcome to Zephyr Quiz League Season 3, the grand finale, February 13, 2023, and a good day to all of you, whichever part of the world you're viewing this. This league has been written by Abid Abdullah, Arindam Datta, Debanjan Bose, Major Chandrakant Nair, Piyush Kedia, Sanya Nerulkar, Siddhant Rao, Shurjo Sengupta, Vineet Shashidharan, Vivek Teduja, and yours truly. And of course, supported by Dinesh Prithivasan, Prerna Prakash, and Anvay Ghosh. This quiz would not have been possible for the massive support by many players who also doubled up as readers for other people's games. We thank you all. And specifically, our top readers are these: Priyank Dahake, Vivek Tejuja, Sanveer Singh, P.S. Rajagopal, Tanmay Roy, Prerna Prakash, Abhinav Dhar, Kiran Kalyan, Shankha Ghosh Dastidar, Rahul Kotalgi. And our tier champions, let's see who's been doing very well. Of course, you're going to watch the tier 1 grand finale in a short bit, but here are our other tier champions. In tier 2, Amit Dey. In tier 3, Calvin. Tier 4, Praveen Verma. Tier 5, Christian Kwamze. Tier 6, Akshay Gurumurthy. Tier 7, Rajiv Rai. Tier 8, Ajay Parasuram. Tier 9, Rajat Gururaj. Tier 10, Udatta Dwara. Tier 11, Shivam Saxena. Tier 12, Feril Samal. Tier 13, Arun TP. Tier 14, Ankit Vora. And Tier 15, Sanjay Kadaveru. We also have data about our category leaders for this season based on total answers. For culture, it was Samanth Subramanian. In sports and games, it was Naman Jain. For media, Balagopal Menon. For sciences, there was a tie between Manu Sudhakar and Gautam Ghosh. For history, Ananya Deb. Chris Abrams for entertainment. Samanth Subramanian once again for lifestyle. And Chris Abrams once again for world. And now, let's meet the grand finale finalists. In position 1 or seat 1, we have Seoan Webb, who was on leaderboard 8th. He had a total of 177 with a get rate of 68. His top categories are entertainment, culture, and media. In seat 2, we have the one and only Pat Gibson featuring not for the first time in the Zephyr grand finale. He is on leaderboard 3, and his top categories are culture, entertainment, and lifestyle. In seat 3, once again, a familiar face, Samanth Subramanian, leaderboard 7th, with top categories. Favorites are culture, entertainment, and lifestyle. And finally, in seat 4, once again, Jimmy Lee, leaderboard 13th, with his top categories being lifestyle, history, and sports and games. So welcome to the grand finale of the Zephyr Quiz League Season 3. In seat 1, we have Seoan Webb. In seat 2, Pat Gibson. In seat 3, Samanth Subramanian. And in seat 4, Jimmy Lee. Best of luck to all of you. And here is the first question of the quiz to Seoan Webb.
Okay. Good luck.
What name is shared by a northeastern province in Argentina and a short-lived republic that existed on the island of Taiwan before it was taken over by Japan? Both places received their names after being described as beautiful by Spanish and Portuguese sailors, respectively.
Formosa.
Formosa is correct, and we really need to start the timer there. 1 point to you, Sean. Here's your next question. Which British physicist who isolated the noble gas argon lends his name to the scattering of light or other electromagnetic radiation by particles much smaller than the wavelength of the radiation? It causes blue color of the daytime sky and the reddening of the sky at sunset.
Rayleigh.
Rayleigh is right. It is Rayleigh scattering or Rayleigh. That's good enough for us. That's another point to you. Here is the second set of questions, but this time to Pat Gibson. Pat, your first question. In 2003, Vogue published what is often considered fashion's greatest editorial. The series featured Alice wearing a blue garment, accompanied by its respective designer, dressed as a character from Wonderland. Alice chases which American fashion designer, the White Rabbit, disappearing down the dark hole? He launched his eponymous label in 2005 after serving as creative director for Gucci and Yves Saint Laurent.
Tom Ford.
Tom Ford is absolutely right. 1 point to you. And your next question coming up. Pat, Giovanni Boccaccio's De Mulieribus Claris, literally concerning famous women, published in 1361, is the first recorded text devoted exclusively to women in Western literature. Name the queen of Scythia who defended her kingdom in a battle against the Achaemenid Empire. According to Herodotus, she was responsible for the death of Cyrus the Great and is depicted in many works of art with a severed head.
Zenobia.
No, this is not Zenobia. Question passing to Samanth.
Pass.
Jimmy.
Pass.
And Sean.
Tamiris.
Could you say that again, Sean?
Tamiris.
Is absolutely right. Well done. Well done. Passing all the way to Sean, who says Tomiris or various alternative pronunciations for that. Good for you. That's a well-earned 1 point.
Thanks.
Questions now going to Samanth. Samanth, your first question is this. Which establishment in Paris housed the office of the character Holly Goodhead in the 1979 James Bond film Moonraker? Named after a former head of state, this inside-out building turned the architecture world upside down, according to the New York Times.
This is the Centre Georges Pompidou.
Yes, it is the Centre de Georges Pompidou or the Pompidou Center. Points to you there. And your next question. The Samudra Manthana, literally the churning of the ocean, is believed to have created a number of ratnas or treasures. Which wish-fulfilling tree emerged during this episode along with Kamadhenu, the wish-granting cow? Often associated with the Parijata, Champaka or the banyan, this tree of life is sacred to all Indic religions.
I've known it as a Kalpa Vriksha.
Kalpa Vriksha is acceptable, yes, or Kalpataru, if you'd said that, is also great. Well earned 1 point there. The last two questions of this round to Jimmy Lee. Jimmy, here's your first question. Which organelle is a spherical vesicle which consists of hydrolytic enzymes that can degrade material taken up from outside the cell or digest obsolete components of the cell itself? It was inaccurately termed as the suicide bags for their hypothesized role in apoptosis.
Lysosome.
Lysosome is right. Yes, Jimmy, that's 1 point for you. It is the lysosome. Here is your second question. What moniker, 4 words, 6, 2, 3, and 6 letters, respectively, was given to a 2003 test match between England and Sri Lanka that took place in the Dambala Stadium? Its rhyming name is a play on a 1974 event that took place in a similar tropical setting, altered to reflect the incompetent manner in which the English batting collapsed. Your answer, Jimmy?
Pass.
Passing. Pat?
Here goes. Bungle in the Jungle.
Bungle in the Jungle is absolutely
done.
right. Well done. After Rumble in the Jungle. Well worked out, Pat. Useful bonus point for you there. Let's move on to the second round and questions to Sean again. The Mad Men episode titled The Blank Blank, 3 letters each, has Dawn encountering an eccentric group of wealthy nomads during a business trip to Los Angeles. The episode is named after the term used to refer to groups of such people who travel the world to participate in social activities unavailable to ordinary people during that era. What is the title?
Jet Set.
Jet Set is right. That's 1 point to you. The Jet Set. Next question. Which landmark in an Asian city is the site of the heist in the 1999 film Entrapment, designed by Cesar Pelli? Its cross-section is based on a Rub el-Hizb, or the Islamic star. Landmark in an Asian city.
Petronas Towers.
Pardon?
The Petronas Towers.
Is the right answer. Well
Okay.
put out at the last minute, Petronas Towers. And we
I
have
didn't.
you there, and that is the shape of the Rub el-Hizb, or the Islamic star in
Didn't
cross.
realise what it looked like from the top, to be honest.
Well done. Next question coming up. Pat, Evan Goldberg is a Canadian-American writer known for his collaborations with a childhood friend. Which film is about an ambitious reporter whose one-night stand with a lazy slacker ends with her getting pregnant? The 2012 film, This Is 40, is a spiritual sequel to this film.
Knocked Up.
Knocked Up is brief and to the point and gets you 1 point as well. Here is your second question, Pat. Which Indian physicist who worked on the acoustics of musical instruments lends his name to the scattering of photons by a material, resulting in the photon having a different frequency? It forms the basis for a spectroscopic technique used to determine vibrational modes of molecules.
Raman.
Pardon?
Raman.
Raman is right, C.V. Raman, and this effect is known as the Raman effect. Well done. Samanth, your 2 questions, and here's the first one. Herbert von Karajan introduced several innovations during a stint at the Vienna State Opera. Which opera by Wagner included falcons and hunting dogs during the finale of the first act, set in a valley between Venusberg and Wartburg? The act ends with the titular Minnesinger begging to be led to the Landgrave's niece, Elizabeth.
Is this Tannhauser?
Is it Tannhauser? You ask doubtfully, and yes, it is Tannhauser. Well done. That's 1 point to you. Here is your second question, Samanth. Name the Queen of Caria mentioned in De Mulieribus Claris, who defended her kingdom in various battles and ruled for 2 years. She is known for an extravagant construction and is often confused with another queen of the same kingdom from a century ago, who led the command along with Xerxes in the naval battle of Salamis?
Artemisia.
Is the right answer. Yes, it is Artemisia. And we have the answer there for you. Yes, there it is. And your two questions coming up, Jimmy. Which 2022 novel was meant to be a non-fiction work about the 2017 coup against Robert Mugabe? Inspired by a 1945 work by George Orwell, it ended up as a satire meant to be a political fable that bears witness to the surreal fate of several African nations.
Animal Farm.
Not Animal Farm. Passing to Samanth.
This is Glory by No Violet Bulawayo.
Is the right answer. That is Glory, and Samanth provided the name of the writer also, Novalite Bulawayo. 1 point for you, Samanth. Next question coming up to Jimmy. What name is shared by a former quarter of St. Lucia and a former province in southeastern France that eventually took a significant connotation from the French monarchy? This name came from the animal depicted on the coat of arms of the former French province.
Dauphin.
Could you repeat that, Jimmy?
Dauphin.
Yes, it is the Dauphin from the dolphin. So that was the heir apparent to the French was known as the Dauphin. Right, next question. This is round 3 coming up. And first question to Seoan Webb, again back to the cell. Which organelle is formed from vesicles fused into enclosed sacs for storing various substances? It is found in both animal and plant cells, but are much larger in the latter, occupying up to 90% of the cell space and providing structural support. So several vesicles can join together to form this.
Vacuole.
Vacuole is right. Well done. Vesicles join together to form vacuoles. And your next question coming up. Which Levantine salad originated with farmers adding fried leftover pita or kubuz scraps with vegetables, greens, and olive oil? The addition of sumac along with pomegranate molasses gives it its signature sourish flavor. The salad takes its name from the Arabic word meaning to crush.
Tabbouleh.
No, I'm afraid not. Passing to Jimmy.
I'll pass.
Jimmy passes. Pat?
Napne.
Not Nakne. Samanth?
Fatouche.
Fatouche it
Yeah,
is.
well done.
Well done. Well done.
Well done.
So fatouche comes from the Arabic word fat, meaning to crush.
Okay.
Useful 1 point there to Samanth. And next questions coming to Pat. Pat, which celestial bow that is employed by a number of Dashavatara, the avatars of Vishnu, appeared in the churning of the ocean? During, sometimes known as Kodanda, it was offered by Parasurama to Rama.
Tara.
No, I'm afraid not. Jimmy,
Pass.
passing. Sean,
I think I'll pass.
okay. Samanth
Pass.
is passing. Okay, this one moves to everyone else. So this one is known as Saranga. Saranga. So I think Pat is making a mental note to go through all this for the next round.
I
Right.
need another lifetime, I think, to go through stuff.
Someone used to say these Indian epics, these names are killing me. Actually. Well, here is the next question to you, Pat. Which ex-security guard is the author of the 2017 book Black and White, The Way I See It? The book details the efforts it took for him and his two princesses to smash their way to American sports royalty.
Williams?
Williams it is. Would you know his first name?
Richard?
Is right. Richard Williams, the father of Serena and Venus. And questions for you, Samanth. Which film is said to be inspired by true romance's Floyd, which is there in the visual, a stoner that attempts to befriend others by sharing a joint? Goldberg and his friend claimed that the film has lent its name to a now popular strain of cannabis, while it originally referred to a Hawaiian weather phenomenon.
Is the Pineapple Express?
It is the Pineapple Express. 1 point to you. And your next question coming up. The Mad Men episode titled Blank, 12 letters, looks at what lays ahead for SCDP and its employees. The episode's title stems from Don's visit to a popular theme park in California, which sets the course for his future. The title refers to one of themed sections of the park and shares its name with an electronic music festival. What is the title?
Lollapalooza?
Not Lollapalooza. Good try. Passing to Jimmy.
Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland it is. Good steal there for you, Jimmy. And your own set of 2 questions coming up. Here is the first one. The 1915 painting, Charge of the Lancers, is the only work on the theme of glorifying war by which painter and sculptor in his typical style emphasizing dynamism and speed. He enrolled in World War I, and in an ironic twist of fate, he was trampled to death a year later after being thrown from his horse. We have some visuals there for you to take a look at.
Oh God, I have to
Okay.
say Turner. Turner.
Not Turner. Passing to Sean.
Bauer.
No, I'm afraid not. Pat?
Boccioni?
It is Boccioni.
Yeah.
Umberto Boccioni.
Was he the Release? Probably misremembering.
Well, that was 1 point to Pat. But here's our next question, Jimmy, coming up. Animal Ambassadors has trained several animals for the Royal Opera House. Which opera by Richard Strauss introduced 5 dogs during its 2016-17 run for comic effect? Its fast-paced plot involves Octavian and Sophie trying to extricate Sophie from her engagement with Baron Ox with the help of the Marschallin Princess Maria Theresa.
Rosenkavalier. Der Rosenkavalier.
Cavalier is right. Richard Strauss should give you that clue. Okay, Knight of the Rose or the Rose Bearer would be equally acceptable. And before we start the next round, which is round 4, we have Sean and Pat on 6, Samanth on 7, and Jimmy on 4. Still early days. Moving on to the first question once again. Round 4, Sean. Which 2016 novel was inspired by the author's returning to her Ghanaian roots when she visited the country on a research trip? Its author has admitted to conceiving the novel's family tree first, forming chapters later for each descendant and tying them to major historical events. Yes,
Can I have Americana?
No, it isn't. Passing to Jimmy.
Pass.
Samanth.
Homegoing,
Homegoing is
Oh,
right.
of course.
Ya Gyasi.
Yes, it is. Yeah, Gyasi, but no experience for that.
hold on.
But a well-earned 1 point steal to Samanth. And let's move on to the next question to Sean. An esoteric programming language, or ESO-lang, is designed to test the boundaries of computer programming. An unapproved dialect of Lisp created by Connor O'Brien, the ESO-lang blank blank, 2 words, 7 and 6 letters, respectively, is a joke built upon replacing the seemingly endless number of parentheses of the language with a vertical implementation as seen in the visual. What is this language called, named after an unethical business model? Just look at the picture and yes.
Pyramid scheme.
Is the right answer. Well worked out. It is the pyramid scheme. Next questions. Pat, your set of 2. What moniker, 7, 2, and 5 letters, was given to a 2013 Australian rules football game between the Brisbane Lions and the Geelong Cats, which saw the Lions come back from a 52-point deficit to win? The blank, 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 3 letters, 3 words, alters the surface of play in the moniker given to a famous game from the 1980 Lake Placid Olympics.
Miracle on Grass.
Miracle on Grass is well worked out. Beautiful answer there by Pat. 1 point to you. And your next question. Which organelle forms a series of flattened sacs or cisternae within the cytoplasm, providing a wide area for cellular reactions and playing an integral role in the folding and transport of proteins? One of its 2 types is studded with ribosomes, the sites of protein synthesis.
The endoplasmic reticulum.
Is the right answer. Well worked out, Pat. Endoplasmic reticulum, I guess you knew that already. They come in 2 varieties, smooth and the rough one, which you see there in the visual. Samanth, your 2 questions coming up. In the Wonderland editorial featuring the model Natalia Vodianova, Alice seeks directions from which French fashion designer, the Cheshire Cat, realizing it doesn't matter which way she goes. Known for his unconventional designs that made use of corsets, marinières, and tin cans, this enfant terrible started a long-standing collaboration with Madonna in the 1980s.
Gautier,
Gautier is right, and he didn't need the visual at all. Jean-Paul Gaultier. There you go. And your next question, Samanth. What name is shared by a northeastern Mexican state and an independent kingdom established by Garcia I in the Iberian Peninsula in 910 CE? The kingdom was eventually absorbed into the crown of Castile, both still entwined today to form Spain's largest autonomous community.
Leon,
Leon is fine, yes. That's the operative word. Nuevo Leon is the place, but Leon is perfectly acceptable to us. Your two questions coming up, Jimmy. Which building in San Francisco features in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol when a missile just chips it before fizzling out? It appears as a silhouette in the logo of its namesake holding company, which holds insurance and investment firms all across the country.
Transamerica Pyramid.
He is right. This is the Transamerica building or the Transamerica Pyramid. And your next question. Which seven-headed flying horse, described as a vahana, literally a vehicle, of either Indra or Mahabali, was created during the churning of the ocean? This creature inspired the logo of George Harrison's Dark Horse Records.
Pass.
Passing, Sean.
Pass. I remember that. Pass.
Pass.
And Samanth.
Uche Shravas.
Uche Shravas is right.
Well done.
Redeeming himself this time after missing. Okay, 1 point to you. Uche Shravas, difficult to pronounce. Next question. Sean, here it is. Which All-American is the author of the 2009 book, Family Huddle? The book recalls the author and his three sons' memories of summers spent in New Orleans and the University of Mississippi. This last name will do.
Manning.
Manning is fine. You know his first name?
Annoyingly, I can't remember. I could probably name the sons.
It's Archie.
Archie Manning.
Yeah, Archie Manning, but Manning is good enough and you get that 1 point. Next question coming up to you. And here it is. In the Wonderland editorial photographed by Annie Leibovitz, Alice is sentenced to death by which British fashion designer, the Queen of Hearts, for refusing to prostrate before her. Known for his eccentric designs that fuse romantic historicism with progressive aesthetics, he served as the creative director for Givenchy and later Dior. He made a controversial return to fashion as the creative director of Maison Margiela.
Zoom in just in case the face stumps. Controversial. Galliano?
Is the right answer. Well done. Pulled it out at the last minute there, John Galliano. And there you go. Pat, your set of two. And here's the first. The 1913 painting, The Fate of the Animals, is one of the best-known works by which German artist who died in 1916 at the Battle of Verdun. Contrasting the peaceful, colorful depiction of animals seen in his other works, the artist later described them as a premonition of this war, horrible and shattering.
Mark.
Yes, it is right, Franz Marc. And there you go. And Pat, here is your second question. Which Sicilian delicacy originated in the 10th century during Arab rule as a way to use leftover saffron-infused risotto? Most commonly filled with ragu and cheeses like mozzarella or caciocavallo, this rice ball variant translates to little oranges in Italian due to its shape, size, and color.
Arancita.
Arancita will give it to you. Yes, arancini is what I was looking for.
Really? Okay.
It is there. Okay. And questions now to Samanth. Which British physicist who discovered the electron lends its name to the scattering of photons by free charged particles in which the outgoing photon has the same energy as the incoming photon. It played a minor role in the cosmic microwave background, reaching its current form.
Thomson.
Is right, J.J. Thomson. There you go. And your next question, Samanth. What moniker was given to a 1980 match between Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran? The three-word blank was held in the second most populous city of a North American country and saw Duran win this fight by unanimous decision.
Um,
Well, you can make up something.
Brawl in Montreal.
Really? It's right. Well,
Well done.
Brawl in Montreal is right. It worked out. Good for you. That was a useful 1 point. And here is the next set of 2 questions going to Jimmy. The Mad Men episode titled Blank Blank has Don's personal relationship with Faye being tested after he asks her for a business favor. The episode's title is a term that invokes an insurmountable ancient fortification. It refers to any protocol or policy that restricts the flow of information between groups within an organization. What is the title? 2 words, 7 and 4 letters.
Chinese wall.
Chinese wall it is, and a quick 1 point to Jimmy there. Chinese wall. And here is your second question, Jimmy. This isolang, a 7-letter word created by Ryan Kuzneri, has a syntax designed to accept just 2 commands, each a single character long. It evokes an older system where these 2 characters would be employed in combinations to communicate messages. The name of this language is a pun referring to the guilt one may experience after taking up this fiendishly difficult pursuit. What is this isolang called?
Dot dash.
Dot dash is a good try, but I'll pass it to Sean. It's not me.
Remorse.
Remorse is the right answer. Well done. Morse code and remorse. Well worked out. Useful 1 point on that. Moving into 10. And before we start the next round, a quick look at the scores. Samanth leading with 13, closely followed by Sean and Pat with 10, and Jimmy Lee with 6. And we start the next round, round 6. Sean, here's your first question. Which film was based on Goldberg's experiences as an outcast, attempting to get invited to at least one high school party as a senior? This character in the visual has entered popular culture as a slang for someone choosing to attempt something ridiculous with an anti-heroic confidence.
Superbad.
Superbad is the right answer. 1 point to you there. And here is your next question, Sean. That's Superbad. Okay. Which goddess of adversity came into being with the poison Hala Hala during the churning of the ocean? Often referred to as Mudevi or Alakshmi, she is regarded as the elder sister of Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity.
Feels like I should know this, but I don't. Pass.
Okay, passing. Jimmy,
Pass.
Pat,
Pass.
and Samanth.
Pass.
Okay, so this one comes back to the question setters. So this is Jyeshtha, Jyestha. Okay. So something that we all learned today. Let's move on to the next question to Pat. Which 2021 novel, Pat, depicts the fall of a white family through the device of 4 funerals over 40 years? This award-winning novel is inspired by the author's experiences growing up near Pretoria, chronicling South Africa in the post-apartheid era.
The Inheritance.
Not The Inheritance, passing to Jimmy.
The Promise.
The Promise it is. Well done, Jimmy.
Okay.
Point
I thought of it just in time that Jimmy hasn't.
Promise by Damon Galgut. And the next question coming to you, Pat. In 2014, the Sydney Harbour stage opened its dressing rooms to 4 camels, including a 6-month-old calf, which opera by Verdi featured these camels for close to 5 minutes during the triumphal march. In this sequence, Radames returns back with gold and hundreds of captives, including King Amonasro, the titular protagonist's father.
Aida.
Aida it is. And your question, Samanth. Which organelle is a pair of barrel-shaped structures made of microtubules that position at opposite ends of the nucleus during mitosis to form spindle fibers? It plays a crucial role in determining the position of other organelles within the cell and in the production of cilia.
Centrioles.
Centriole is right. Well done. If it said centrosome, I would have given that to you as well. Centriole, bang on. And your next question, Samanth. Which Bengali dish originated as a means for using up leftover meats from the roast of the day before? A protein such as chicken is hot fried in a thick sauce of green peppers, onions, and tomatoes to whip up this spicy dish that is often served as an accompaniment to palau or flat bread. Any guesses?
I think I'm going to pass. Don't know.
Okay. Jimmy?
Jalfrezi.
Is the right answer. Well done. It is jalfrezi. That's a useful 1 point to you, Jimmy. And here is the next question. In fact, 2 questions coming up to Jimmy right now. Here is your first. Which Vietnam veteran is the author of the book 1998? Sorry, author of the 1998 book, Playing Through? Amid rampant racism, a fellow soldier's kindness made him name his son after the soldier's wild nickname.
Woods.
Woods is acceptable, yes. And that's how Tiger Woods got his name. Here's your next question, Jimmy. Which American physicist who won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1927 lends his name to the scattering of a photon by a charged particle, resulting in the photon having a different wavelength? This phenomenon and its namesake effect provided evidence of light's particle-like behavior.
Compton.
Compton is right. This is the Compton effect, named after Arthur Compton. And second last round coming up, and things are still very, very tight. Here's your first question, Sean. Name the Queen of Palmyra mentioned in De Mulieribus Claris, who grew the influence of Palmyra from a subordinate city to Rome to a kingdom in its own right. By the end of her reign, around 272 BC, she governed all of Asia Minor and had annexed Egypt as well. She's often depicted in art as a battle commander addressing her soldiers.
Zenobia.
This is Zenobia. Yes, Pat had
Sorry,
mentioned
Pat.
earlier, but Sean obviously knew it, I'm sure. Palmyra, land of Queen Zenobia. Your next question coming up, Sean. What moniker was given to a 2004 Premier League match that saw Manchester United end Arsenal's 49-match unbeaten run? The four-word blanks was a war of footballing giants that saw a large spread of items tossed on players such as soup cans, fruit, coffee, and pizza. If you have an alternative answer, I'll accept that as well.
Battle of the. God, I don't have it. Pass.
Okay, passing. Pat?
Battle of the Buffet.
Yes, the Battle of the Buffet is
Oh, I see.
perfectly worked out. You would have also accepted Pizzagate.
That's what was. Okay. I'm trying to think of Battle of the Bee. Didn't get there for some reason.
For Pat on that steal. And here are your own two questions, Pat. The first one coming up. The Isolang 8 or 9 letter, a single word, uses code that once executed converts each line into loops with a head and a tail. A code with the input A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J results in the following. J is consumed by A and so not executed, which then proceeds to I. Once this loop is over, the code discards I and moves on to H and so on. What is this language called, named after something that led to a chemical structural epiphany in the 19th century?
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros, or the snake swallowing its tail, which gave rise, of course, to the famous dream of Kekule and benzene. Well done. That's 1 point to you. The payoff was there in the last line. Here's your second question, Pat. What name is shared by a former Dutch colony in Suriname and the former capital of the Dutch East Indies, corresponding to present-day Jakarta? Both locations were named after the historical Roman region located in modern-day Netherlands.
Batavia.
Batavia is the right answer. Yes. So that is the name shared by the former Dutch colony in Suriname and the Dutch East Indies capital. Two questions to you, Samanth. Here is your first. Retrospectively titled Farewell, this 1914 unfinished painting on the right, by which German expressionist, reflects the gloom and disquiet that had gripped the public in the lead up to World War I, in contrast to his more vibrant earlier works. He was killed just aged 27, just 2 months into the war. There you can see the difference between Promenade dated 1913 and Farewell dated 1914.
This is Mackey, August Mackey.
Auguste Mackie, or Auguste Macquer is the right answer. Well done. That's 1 point for you. Brilliant answer there by Samanth. And your next question coming up, Samanth. Which ex-shooting guard is the author of the preface for the 2017 book, Most Valuable Dad? The title alludes to a distinction achieved by his elder son the previous year while playing for the Western Conference.
Curry?
Curry is right, and that is the surname and it's acceptable. Del Curry is the name that we were looking for, but Curry will do for that 1 point. And 2 questions now coming up to Jimmy. Here is your first question. In the Wonderland editorial, styled by Grace Coddington, Alice encounters which Italian fashion designer, the Griffin, together meeting the Mock Turtle as per the Queen's orders. Noted for mixing mediums such as metal, mesh, and leather with bright colors, this muse-turned-director has been instrumental to the success of a fashion house following a certain 1990s incident. Full name needed. I think the visual is very helpful here. And the fact,
Donatella Versace.
yes, it is Donatella Versace. Otherwise, they wouldn't have asked for the full name. Well worked out, Jimmy. That's 1 point for you. And here is your second question in this round. Which Southeast Asian dish originated from Chinese immigrants who considered it taboo to throw away food? One of the 5 national dishes of a country, it uses leftover rice from the night before and includes bits of chicken, beef, prawn, or dried fish topped traditionally with a fried egg. Read that.
Nasi goreng.
Yes, the description fits very well. Nasi goreng, it is. Well done. You got both your answers there, Jimmy. That's the other 4 national dishes of Indonesia being soto, rendang, satay, and gado-gado. Useful 1 point there for Jimmy. And that brings us to the end of round 7 and the beginning of the last round with final 8 questions to decide who's going to win this grand finale. In the lead right now, Samanth 16. It's a slender lead because chasing him is Pat Gibson on 14, Sean on 12, and Jimmy as well on 12. Sean, here are your final 2 directs. Considering the foremost exponent of figurative painting from early expressionists, which artist, 7 letters, died in 1870 during the Franco-Prussian War, cutting short an extremely promising career. The painting on the right shows the artist in his studio with his friends Monet, Manet, Zola, and Renoir.
Basile.
You said Basile, and Basile it is. Well done, Frederick. Basile. There you go. And your final direct, Sean. Wanda, a 15-year-old donkey, made her Met Opera debut during the 2022 season. Which opera by Puccini saw Wanda pulling Papignol's cart of toys during the Café Momus scene? Set in Paris, this opera also featured Lord, a 19-year-old horse, who pulled the cart of Musetta and Alcindoro before they meet Mimi, Rodolfo, and Marcello.
La Bohème.
La Bohème it is, by Puccini. All the names are there, all the famous names of the characters. Well done, Sean. You couldn't do anything better more than that. I think you've done a great job. That's brought you to 14. And questions to Pat. The Mad Men episode, titled Blank Blank, finds Megan reigniting her passion for acting, and the episode features several allusions to resurgence of things that have died out. The episode gets its alliterative name from one of Sylvia Plath's last poems, appropriate considering that the titular woman in the poem dies and comes back to life. What is the title?
Worth expanding the picture.
Yes, we can expand the picture. There we go. There's a fair bit of clues in the text.
Lady Macbeth.
Not Lady Macbeth. Passing to Jimmy.
Lady Lazarus.
Lady
My
Nazareth.
hope, my hope of ever beating you in a quiz, Jimmy, is kind of
I thought
disintegrated.
it's a tougher word to get, and anyway, so well done. That was a good steal from Jimmy. And Pat, here's your second question. Which scientific establishment in New South Wales, Australia, was the 2000 film The Dish shot at? It is home to the film's titular instrument, which received the first live images of the Apollo 11 landing.
Parkes Observatory.
It is the Parkes
Well done.
Observatory. Well played, Pat. With the Parkes Observatory there, you get that useful 1 point. Right now, you're in second place, but still 4 questions left in this quiz. Samanth, your final. This ESOLang was created by a really cool username to cruelly instill into programmers how memory is allocated and used. Thus, it is designed to crash during execution and asks that the coder be prepared for this inevitability, leading to its name, blank, blank, blank. What is this ESOLang called? An instruction frantically shouted at passengers during emergencies.
Brace for impact.
For impact, it is. Sean was exasperated.
Yeah, well done.
Frustrating. Yes, it is frustrating, Sean. Yes.
Yeah, well done.
Brace for impact. Yes, that takes Samanth to 17 points. And your final question, Samanth. Which 2021 novel, published 48 years after the author's previous novel, is a fictionalized version of state-sponsored corruption in Nigeria? Conceived during the forced solitude of lockdown, the novel is about a secret society of the nation's political and religious elite that trade in human body parts.
No, I don't think I know this. Pass.
Passing to Sean.
Skull and Bones.
No. Jimmy.
Pass.
Passing to Pat.
Pass.
This is
Passing
Wale Soyinka, no? Soyinka
Yes.
book.
by Wole Soyinka. It's Chronicles from the Land of the Happiest People on Earth. Okay.
Oh, well done.
Okay, and our final 2 questions coming up. Jimmy, name the queen of Numidia mentioned in the Mulieribus Claris, who was responsible for King Syphax changing loyalties and becoming the strongest ally of the Carthaginian campaign in the Punic Wars. She is often depicted in art consuming a poisoned chalice rather than be part of a Roman triumph after the eventual defeat of Carthage.
Cybele.
Not Cybele. Passing to Sean.
No, my mind's gone blank, annoyingly. Pass.
Pat.
Sophonisba.
Sophonisba.
Yeah, that's it. That is.
Sophonisba. And the last question coming up for this quiz, which might still end up in a tie, we don't know. Here it is. Jimmy, which film is based on a short film in the visual there that Evan Goldberg, his childhood friend, and Jay Baruchel created about 2 friends trying to be good enough people to qualify for the rapture? It was actually aptly titled the final, sorry, it was aptly the final rental given out by the last blockbuster before it closed.
The end of the world?
Not the end of the world, Sean.
Apocalypse. Might as well guess something.
Not the apocalypse. Samanth
Pass.
and Pat.
End of days?
Not end of days. You all got the one important word, which is the end. And this is the end.
Ah,
This is the end.
That's
Yeah.
appropriately
yeah, well done, everyone.
of this.
And well done, Simon.
Well done, Samanth.
Great match, great match. Well
Strong
done.
performance.
And the winner, of course, is Samanth, just on that last one, which went all the way round. But well played, Pat, who crept up and nearly swooped in to create a tiebreaker with 16 points. In third place, Sean Webb with 14 points. And in fourth place, out of 240 players who played this season, Jimmy Lee with 13 points. Thank you all for playing the Zephyr Season 3 of the Zephyr Quiz League, and we hope to see you all again for Season 4. Good day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for a
Thanks,
great
guys.
season. Thanks
And
so
thank
much.
you very much.
Thanks,
Simon.
Navin.
Well done, Barbara, Simon, for the win.
Great game.
Thanks for reading for us.
Very, very well
Thanks.
played. And thanks for reading as well. See you soon.